Hi viewers, welcome back to Mom and Just for my talk show. So in the light of motherhood series, we want to start by wishing all mothers in the house happy Mother's Day or happy Mother's Month. Yeah. So today we're taking an interesting episode referred to as a mother's sacrifice. And with me we have Mrs. Nancy. I'm not sure your name, your surname.
Kiliswa.
Kiliswa, Mrs. Nancy Kiliswa, yeah. So she's here to do just. She's the mother of two lovely girls and happily married. They're residing here in Durban, South Africa. So stay tuned. Please remember to subscribe to the channel to keep you in line or in loop of subsequent episodes. Mrs. Nancy, you're welcome to Mom and Jess Moment Talk Show. We're all happy to have you. So are you ready? Let's hit the show. Yeah, so motherhood sacrifice. What's your take on sacrifice of a mother?
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you. It's such an honor and a privilege to be here.
We thank God for the question.
Yeah. So for me, motherhood sacrifice is giving up, like any other sacrifice. It's giving up something for your children, or giving up something by being a mother. That is what I would call motherhood sacrifice. So it is, you could be giving up different things. You know? It could be different, it could be giving up your time, giving up your career, giving up your body.
Mothers, I'm sure you can relate to the
adding of weight. Relate, adding weight when you give birth and looking like an old woman, but it's all in being a mother. So and those are some of that's how I can see motherhood, the sacrifices of a mother.
Thank you for that very simple one that we can all relate to. Okay, ma'am, let's also try to understand the issue of the importance or significance of motherhood. What do you think stands out for you as a significant role mothers play in terms of sacrifice for their children?
It's very important for a mother to sacrifice for their children. And the one most important thing that I see for you as a mother to sacrifice is because of what you want your children to be. So you want to invest as much time or as much resources or as much of yourself into your children, especially when they are young. That's true. When you do that, then you will have a restful rest of your life, because if you don't sacrifice now, you'll at some point you'll have to sacrifice.
That's true.
Pain will come if you don't do it now.
Pain will come.
Yeah, you better have the pain early and a peaceful later on life.
That's true.
Than have a peaceful life and you're enjoying your life and your kids are all over, and then later on you'll start crying. For it. Yes. So that is why it's important. And of course the biggest sacrifice, the biggest thing about sacrifice is because we love our children.
That's true.
Yeah, even if and for any sacrifice there has to be love.
That's true.
Even if you look at the Bible, even God himself, he loved us so much that he sacrificed his child.
That's true.
So we love our children so much that we have to sacrifice something. When you love something, you have to give something.
That's true.
So when you love your children so much, there has to be something as a mother that you have to give for it. So it's just the same principle. Because we sacrifice because we love our children.
That's true.
Yeah.
I love the part you mentioned about if you don't sacrifice, then there's pain for it. Because I will often hear about a stick, when you take a stick from a tree and you plug a branch, when it's soft and green, it's easy to bend. Yes. But when it gets dried up, it's difficult to bend. So that I can relate with children, because children are easier to train when they are little.
That's true.
And then when they are grown into teenage and adults, it's difficult to inculcate those values if they're not started. So I believe a mother somewhere watching has gotten that. Yes. Thank you so much.
And very important that you brought up the issue of training, because many a times when we think about mothers or motherhood sacrifice, we think about doing everything for our children.
Absolutely.
It's not about doing everything for our children.
Right.
It's training these children to be to be something, to have an impact in the society, to live a godly life if you're a Christian mother.
That's true.
So that is, the training is most important when you talk about motherly sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Because if you do everything for our children, these are the children that grow up and they can't do anything for themselves. They're so dependent on their mothers.
Right.
So it's making sure that you train them to be independent. Yeah.
Training them to be independent. Thank you, ma'am, for that. Okay, let's get to understand in what ways can mothers take very good sacrifices for the children and in fact for the home.
Very important question. Thank you for that. There are very many ways you can sacrifice as a mother.
Right.
The biggest way you can sacrifice, I think, is your time.
Your time.
Yes.
Right.
Because you cannot train these children if you're not with them.
Absolutely.
You cannot show them the way to go if you're not with them. So you have to be there for them. And for you to be there for them, you have to create time for them. So there are many ways you can create time. Some mothers actually sacrifice their careers for their children.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this has been true in my life actually.
Interesting. We'd love to hear that.
Yes, because when I got married, I was working. I was full-time working, and my career had just kicked off and I was doing well, but then I got pregnant almost immediately, and I could see how mothers used to leave their children when they're very young. And I didn't want that for my children. But then at that time I was very lucky because I had a very good employer. So I had a long leave. I actually stayed at home for the first 6 months and breastfed my child. And then after that I would work half day.
Okay.
But then when my second one came, I couldn't.
You couldn't cope anymore.
I couldn't cope anymore with work and children. So I actually had to quit my job.
Wow.
Yes. So I had to quit my job and become a full-time mom.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, but also it's important to note that you don't just quit your job.
Okay.
You don't just quit a job because you're saying you want to sacrifice for your children, and you must have a plan. Of course, you must first pray about it.
That's true.
You must pray about it. Let God guide you, because not everyone can afford to quit their jobs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some of them, maybe some mothers are the breadwinners
of the
family. Yeah. So they can. Some of them may be single mothers. So they may not be able to quit the job and stay at home with their children full time. Yeah. I'm blessed to have a very supportive husband.
Right.
And so it was easy for me to actually just transition. Yes. And I also took that time, not just sit at home with the children, because again, if you're used to working full time,
it's difficult.
And then just drop the work.
It's difficult.
It is very difficult.
That's true.
It can get into you. So if you're that kind of mom, you can look for something else to do
by the side.
Yes. And for me, what worked for me is that I took that time to advance my education.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, let's also understand the reasons why you think, as mothers, you mentioned the aspect of quitting your job. Let's understand the reasons why you think that these sacrifices actually rubs off on the children when they grow into adults.
First of all, a mother is supposed to be nurturing. That's how we are created.
That's true.
Caring for our children.
That's true.
So, and the bond between the mother and the child is very important, and especially when the child is very young. When they are little, they bond with you. Even when they are as young as infants, when they are breastfeeding, you are bonding with that child.
That's true.
And that bond actually helps the child to grow well. So it's very important that you create that bond with the child. Very important, because even as they grow, when you have that bond, the child becomes close to you. You are close to your child. You have a very good relationship.
Yeah.
Your child becomes open, so you know everything about your child. They can approach you. They can talk to you when they have
That's
issues.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
and so that's why it's important that you create that time. Yes, you create that time. Sometimes you find that some mothers, and I don't blame them, because like we are saying, times are hard. And
That's
sometimes
true.
maybe one source of income for the husband may not be enough to sustain the family,
And
so
has to
work. So
That's
I don't
true.
blame them that they have to go to work. But even when you're going to work, it's important to ensure that you have time for your children. And that comes in, like, for me, when the children grew up and they started going to school, now I have this time alone that I don't have much to do because the children are in school. So I went back into the workforce.
That's true.
But then I must say that my life has been very blessed, because every time, even when I'm working, I've had employers who are understanding. And so I could get time to drop my kids to school in the morning.
So it's easy to flex them.
Yes.
Flex your responsibility.
Yes. And so even if I haven't spent time with them, that time that you are dropping and fetching, it's also very important.
Time to communicate and bond.
Yes.
You don't joke with such.
Yes. And I found that time to be very, very, very important, especially for a mother. If you are able to do that, because when the kids are away from you in school, there's a lot of influences.
That's true.
At school.
That's true.
They meet other kids from different backgrounds. They hear a lot of things. That time that you're fetching, the time you're driving from school to home, you being the first contact with your child after school.
Wow.
Very important.
Wow.
Because as they tell you what has been happening in school, you are guiding them. You are picking what kind of influence.
What they shouldn't.
Yes. And it is during that time, because you are the first person they see, they tell you what they have been through at school. You can tell the kind of friends they have. You can guide them if there's anything that you're feeling wasn't right. You can correct. Yes. You can correct them and tell them, this is you would have done this, or whatever you did was right. If she tells you something, because kids will always talk to you.
That's true.
Yeah, they'll tell you stories. Oh, mommy, this happened to school. At school today.
And I think especially with girls, it's more peculiar. I noticed with the ladies.
Yes. And so you can guide them. That time for me is very important. It's very important. Just that drive from school to home, I get a lot, and I also use that time to help my kids. Yeah.
Mothers watching, I hope you're getting that. We do not joke with those opportunities we get, dropping the children and picking them up. I also take advantage, because first thing when they get into the car, mommy, you know what happened? They go about their story. Sometimes it's even difficult. You don't know who to listen to.
Yes.
If you've got
more than children,
that's true. So you have to take your time and hear each and every one out. I thank you for raising that point. I believe that a mother has caught that point. So mothers working, we're not discouraging any mother from working. If you've got your career, go for it. But at the same time, very important to make out time. Little times as, dropping time for your children and picking up times. Spend those times as quality times with your children. And I pray the Lord will continue to help us all in this. I know it's not easy. We can only do it by the grace of God. Moving on, we'll also try to look at the aspect of the women or mothers that have, not had the opportunity of, being shown love. For instance, we have mothers that grew up, probably their childhood, they were neglected, or they never had the opportunity of mother love, like orphans, or people that lost their moms early in life, or mothers that they just never felt that love of a mother. So that probably is affecting their relationship with their own children, or probably they don't know or understand how to show love. What advices do you have for such mothers? Probably one or two might be watching this episode.
For such a mother, I would first of all say that it's never too late to start.
Right.
It's never too late to start. And so, sorry. you can start from where you are. Because there are even mothers who actually got the motherly love, but they also got busy and they neglected their children. And when I say neglected, is quote unquote. So you can always come back. That's and true. Start from where you are. If you don't know where to start, you can look for a friend whom you see that has been doing it well, you know, because in your circle of friends there must be maybe that one mother that you look and admire the way they're bringing up. Talk to them, find out how are you doing it, how can I do it myself, you know. Just talk to people, pray about it, because everything that we do as mothers, even as human beings, we cannot do anything without God's help.
Without God's help.
Yeah, we need God to help us. So you can pray about it and just start from where you are and start small. Don't put too much expectations on yourself.
That's true.
Because if you put high expectations on yourself, then if you think that you're not doing it well, you start beating yourself.
That's
you start looking at yourself like a failure. But start from where you are. Start small. Talk to other mothers that can help you, and also pray about it. And I'm sure that with that, God will always guide you.
Amen.
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
you'll be able to have an impactful relationship with your children. Yeah.
Viewers, I hope you got that. The most important thing is to seek direction from God. I think that's most paramount, because we never can know it all. Even for people that we look up to as perfect mothers, you know, I'm sure they draw inspiration or, you know, or direction from a source more than they themselves, probably from above. Thank you so much for that tip. We also love to understand the issue of career moms struggling, you know, with maintaining the house, upkeep, children, career. What's your take and advice for such very overwhelming careers and jobs for mothers?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, for career women, it can be very difficult.
Absolutely.
It can be very difficult. And I'm saying that because I've been there. It can be hard, and sometimes you feel like you're not giving your children 100%, and it can actually lead to stress and depression, because you're feeling like you're not giving your all to your children. But hope, there's still hope, because you still go back home in the evening. I know you are tired. I know there's so much waiting for you. Maybe you have deadlines, maybe you have schoolwork, you have so much to do. But it's always important, even if it's just 10 minutes, just create time with your children. I know some of us may have time to actually come back home in time for dinner. Use the dinner time to just chat with your children, catch up, talk to them. Even if you don't make it home in time for dinner every day, just purpose to have one day a week where you all sit at the table and eat together and bond with your children. Another thing that has worked for me is, as a family, we have had dates with our children where I just take my one child on a Saturday morning or afternoon. Maybe we go have breakfast or we go have lunch. We just have like a morning together, just me and the one child, not all of them. So we have a timetable where
I should try that
every weekend. Yeah, that's it actually works for us. So what we do is that if it's, because we are 4 of us, me, the dad, and my two girls. So every month, every weekend. So if it's September, say it's my month to take everyone out, I'll take the father out, I'll take the one daughter out, and the next weekend I'll take the other daughter out.
Wow.
So we'll just go, even if it's just walk by the beach, you know, we're just having that time. Because even if you're working and you're a career mom, at least you have a weekend off.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can always create time.
Create time for your children. Create time for your children. And we all know that we work, but the most important thing is that you raise godly children, or you raise children that are going to be better people.
That's true.
because work can and it can also go, but your family will remain with you. So what legacy do you want to leave for your children?
Very important.
It's very important that the way you're creating time for work, you can also create time for your family and for your children, most importantly. Yeah. So just create time, whatever works for you. Maybe going out every weekend may not work for you, but it doesn't even take long. We even take 1 hour. You just go walk
And
by
that
the
is
beach.
fine.
Yeah, and you come back, and the child feels nice. They feel
refreshed.
you value them. They feel loved by their mother, and they look forward to that actually.
Wow.
Yes, they look forward to just going out with mommy or just going out with daddy.
Wow, that's interesting. I think mothers, I got value from that. You know, someone like me, I've got 4 children, so I've never really thought about, you know, having, I know with the teenager, I often spend more time with her because I believe she's a teen, and I give more attention. Probably I should find how to, you know, equate times for the other ones. I'm speaking for myself. I'm sure you're watching also will think twice about it, just as Mrs. Nancy has shared. Thank you so much for that very insightful tip. And just to wrap up our discussion, because we're running out of time, I just want you please to help us advise mothers out there. Perhaps there's a young mother watching and is clueless, or some mother that has lost herself in the process of giving and sacrificing so much. What take or advice you have for them?
First, I would like to say that motherhood is such a blessing.
It is.
Children are a blessing from God. They are a gift from God. So if you have children, you are blessed. You are blessed to have children. And that these children that we have they are not ours, they are God's. So God has given us to just take care of them. So as you're bringing up these children, as you're taking care of these children, just know that you're not doing it for yourself. You are doing it for God. And so just the way you would do any other thing for God, just the way you would service or give God service in any other way, it's the same way you do for your children.
Wow.
And so if you are a young mother there and maybe you don't even have children, you're looking forward to having children, just know that it's such a blessing. And this blessing comes with responsibilities. And so you need to also be ready to take that responsibility. Absolutely. And be the mother that God has purposed you to be.
Amen.
Be the custodian that God has made you to be. Because when God even when God made us as women, He made us and He knew that we have the grace to pull through motherhood.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's why He made us as women. That's why He made us as mothers. So when God gives you a child or children, know that He will give you the grace to actually take care of these children. Amen. And bring up these children in the way that He wants you to bring them up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amen.
So all you need to just look up to Him and know that you can't do it on your own.
We can't, definitely we can't. We need strength from above, and I pray the Lord will help us all mothers. You know, for in any way we are going through one challenge, for any mother that has lost herself, you know, to sacrificing, for any mother that is struggling, you know, with career and motherhood and children, we pray that the Lord will help us all, strengthen you, and give you all the inspiration you need to do so. So on that note, we'd love to end this episode. God bless you for watching, and catch you next episode. Happy Mother's Month. Bye.